Welcome to our modified version of Tech Thursday here. We're doing it a little different today as I had an in-person CE class for tomorrow that we were supposed to be setting this. So I wanted to keep us on track for our schedule and not cancel it, and instead just release the recording of it. And part two of the reason why I decided to record this one is it's probably not a half hour's worth of content. It's really only one report and data that is very easy to use inside of ShowingTime that is going to help you just educate your sellers on the market and a potential marketing strategy as far as pricing a property. So as at least from my opinion, our job is not to set the price for the sellers. Our job is to help educate the consumers on a most likely selling price, and price is going to be just an invitation to attend. It is not what we think is the market value. It is not an appraisal. That is not our job as real estate brokers. Even if you are a licensed appraisal, that is not appraiser. That is not your job, in my opinion, when you are setting a market price and a list price for a property. So this data can be used with other market analysis information, again, just to help provide sellers some information and yourself some information on how you can use this data. So let's dive right into it. I am going to go ahead and share my screen here, and as we usually do, and we will get into this topic on ShowingTime data. So this is something that I learned just a few months ago. This is not data that I was using before. This was talking to the amazing Kim Papalardo of the Papalardo Group. She showed me this report, and I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty useful and pretty insightful. You can gain some great insights from it. So if you haven't used it, if you haven't gone directly to ShowingTime from Dorify specifically, you can do this right inside of your dashboard. If you scroll down to other services, you'll click on ShowingTime, and that is going to log you into your ShowingTime, any showings you have requested or on your list. I'm going to go over here to reports specifically for today. And the one that I would recommend everybody take a look at all these reports, especially if you have a lot of listings or are listing heavy focused business. You have a lot of data in here. I am not currently a heavy listing focused broker, so there's not a lot of detail in those for me. But the one that we're going to take a look at and focus on is this target market analysis. So if I just go ahead and click on that, that is going to bring up your report builder. So this is where you're going to be able to tell it based on some information that you want, what you want to do, what data you're looking for. So you can do this for specific cities, specific zip codes, specific counties, even specific subdivisions and property types. So I am just going to do, for our purposes here, I am going to say Apex. And you're most likely, for the data to be valuable here, you don't want a wide range here. You know, if you're getting this report and you're pulling it for a seller, you've probably got a pretty good idea of a range. It'd probably even be tighter than what I'm going to do for today, but let's just do 400. Let's do 500 to 600. Like I said, you probably even can bring it tighter than that. Based on how tight your price range is, we'll give you a what kind of increments you want to do. Increments are going to be important because they're going to show you where the showings are coming from based on your price point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the smallest one. I'm going to choose 5,000. You also have the choice. So this, I would leave this box checked off using market-wide data. That is going to use every firm that is available in ShowingTime. And it's showing data that they have in there. As far as, again, these are only going to be listing showings that are scheduled through ShowingTime. If someone just calls, wants to see the property and they don't go through ShowingTime, I don't understand why a broker would do that in 2025. But if they did, this would not be included in this data. And of course, viewings at open houses and other unscheduled showings are not going to be included. So I'm going to leave that there. You also have the option to say, hey, do I want it for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or for this, it's going to just give you a default there. I'm going to go with the last 30 days. As soon as I do that, it's going to run the report. So now what you can see here is your activity chart. So this is just the number of showings. So, one caveat that I like to add with this data here is, you can have especially, as you get into maybe higher price points, where you're not going to have a ton of listings necessarily in that price range. But as you can see here, 575 to 580 has significantly more showings than any other price point. So you can see this is just the number of showings. If you hover over it, it gives you the actual number of showings. So that's a good just kind of graphical representation of the showings. If I'm around, let's see, my comps come in at, 565, 570, in that range. I may push 575 because I've got the data there to show that. And I also believe there's also some search functionality around, $25,000 increments. But you can see that. But again, that is just the number of showings. The second part that you want to make sure you are taking into account if you're going to use this data is how many actual listings on that. You can do some quick math with the data below to get us there. So that's just the activity chart. The activity detail is some great value here as well, because this shows not only that total number of showings, which is what the chart shows, but it also shows the monthly average, the weekly average, and then what I feel may be the most important, which is going to be the showings per listing. So even though, as you can see here, 575 to 580 has the highest number of showings, but if I invert this by just clicking on it, it's going to show me the highest showings per listing. And even though that 575, 580 was by far and away the highest number of showings, this only was at 14 listings per showing. So 14 into 70 is what, 5? So that means there's probably 5 properties on the market at that 575 to 580, whereas this 545 to 549 is only 1 property on the market, and it's at 35 showings. So that is the highest per showing. But this is showing me the number of showings in the last 30 days on properties in that price point. So, for me, 545 to 549, that has a great showing per listing on it. Probably wouldn't be a pricing strategy that I would use, but you can use this data to kind of show where you may want to price a property based on the showing activity. And then I would recommend, also running this for 60 days or 90 days and see what that data does. So here you can see as I get to 90 days, now our data is completely different. We've got 131 showings in that. And if I go to showings per listing, 555 to 560 has been the largest number of showings. So a lot of data that you can use there. Again, this is really just to help you guide the conversation. I'll use another one in here that I pulled up yesterday. And I'm going to say, let's see, 400. I think it was 400 to 600. No, maybe it was 400 to 500. And if I run that report for 30 days, now you can see some of this data here that shows, that same kind of data, 81 showings. But if I go to showings per listing, 400 to 404 is actually the largest number of showings per listing. It's 34 showings. So it tells me there's been 2 properties on the market in the last 30 days in that price. So again, you can use this data to help guide your conversation and, get the price to where you think it needs to be for that property. Again, using the showing data that is out there. You can even run it, if 30 days you think is too long, you can go up here to the menu and you can say, hey, I just want to see the month of March. And I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And that's going to show, that data support. Let's just go here. I'm going to say the last week. Let's go to the 9th through the 19th. Now we've got this skewed, went up a little bit higher. So now we've got just 10 days worth of data, and we've had 43 showings on properties that are just over that 450 price mark, because probably there's no listings in that price point. But again, you can use this data to help you support the pricing strategy that you want to advise your clients on and what you think is going to be the best for them. You can also, over here, you can download this PDF, this as a PDF, and it prints out a nice downloadable report for you that may open for me. So just a printout that you can give, and maybe you bring 3 months worth of data with you for different price points, so you can see kind of what the market is doing. Again, you are just there to educate them and help offer guidance to them on a most likely selling price for their house. So hopefully you found this report useful and you're thinking of other ways that you can use this to help guide your conversations with your sellers. So Thank you for watching this different version of Tech Thursday. We will be back next Thursday live with our next training on Canva tips. So a couple months ago, we did a training on Canva. It was pretty well received. People loved it and said, hey, can you do that again? So we're going to talk about some more tips and hacks that you can use for a Canva to help you leverage your marketing and just take your marketing up to the next level using some shortcuts inside of Canva. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.